Hey there, Games Apprentice back with another Evercade video. This week I'm going to be reviewing the Megacat Studios Collection 1. Is it 10 classics or is it just a bit of thrifty tat? Let's find out. Established in 2015, Megacat Studios is a modern developer dedicated to classic consoles. Every game that Megacat brings to the market has been created to work with the consoles of the past. The pixel aesthetic is consistent across all Megacat games, along with elements of humour and Easter eggs that retro gamers love. Play a Megacat Studios game and you will experience craftsmanship that is as good as any historical studios. We shall see. Now, I'm usually pretty down with my indie games, but everything on this collection is new to me, so my expectations are pretty low. Here they are ranked from worst to best. Number 10, Almost Hero. With this game, Megacat Studios faithfully recreates the NES Brawler, and fans of NES Brawlers like River City Rampage and Double Dragon, there's lots to enjoy here. It looks and feels like it could have come out in the 1980s. The music is really cool and it's got a good sense of humour. If, however, you don't happen to be particularly fond of NES Brawlers or you've never played them before, it's hard to see beyond the crap with this one, to be honest. The way you can never hit a combo makes it tedious and repetitive. It's literally just punch and move, punch and move. Try anything beyond that and you'll get punished. As far as I'm concerned, Brawlers didn't get good until the 16-bit era, and even then, the list of good ones is slim picking. The difficulty and repetitiveness are likely to put most off. They definitely did for me. Number 9, Creepy Brawler. This one is a case of a good idea with poor execution. It's basically just a Punch-Out clone, which is great because Punch-Out's awesome. However, it's not a better one, but a much worse one. The plot is that you're on a movie set and end up boxing monsters, basically. With Punch-Out, the characters' facials and animations are really important in telling you what they're going to do, but the sprites for this one just haven't been designed large enough to do that, so it just can't pull it off, making the animations a lot duller and it's harder to tell between the different incoming attacks. The biggest issue I had with this one personally was that it was just too buggy. The gameplay sometimes went into complete meltdown when I died and ended up getting stuck on repeat, having to reset the game completely. Yet another case of poor quality control on the Evercade that's let this one down. Number 8, Logjammers. Basically, this is a blatant Windjammers clone, where you're playing vertically instead of horizontally. The area is a bit too small for how fast it is, giving you no chance of being as good as Windjammers, and it doesn't look remotely as nice. It doesn't have the depth of Windjammers either, making it more like an ultra-fast Pong. I'm not really sure why they decided for such a small play area on this. It removes any skill out of the game, as the projectile moves too fast for you to have a reasonable chance of getting near it. Just go play Windjammers, don't even bother with this. Number 7, Little Medusa. The biggest problem with this game is most people who try it are just going to give up on the first level. Good game design should allow you to figure out how to play the game naturally. At worst, there should be a tutorial or something in the instructions to get you started. This game offers none of that. If I didn't get to look it up on YouTube, I wouldn't have had much footage to show you really. You basically have to freeze enemies, and then when you kick them into water, it creates blocks that you can walk on. It's definitely got a big Adventures of Lolo vibe to it, but if you're going to make a modern game, it really should be better than a 30-year-old game that you're imitating. And this one simply isn't. I'd much rather play Adventures of Lolo. Still, if you don't own that, or you never played it before, you might enjoy this more than I did. Number 6, Justice Duel. For this one, think Towerfall, except you're a president flying on the back of an eagle. You tap one button to fly, similar to Flappy Bird, and the other to shoot. Single player is pretty fun, but I was really hoping for more in the multiplayer. There's no extra modes or anything like that there is in Towerfall. It's just, you've got 3 lives and some health for each life. One of the things that makes Towerfall so good is that it's one hit kill, with this one having health just doesn't work as well. When you take a hit, you can carry on moving, and there's very little in the way to slow you down, meaning that if someone's on your tail, it's pretty much impossible to shake them. It just lacks the skill that Towerfall has, and it's just not quite there in terms of something that I'd want to add to my multiplayer playlist. Number 5, Multidude. This one is a clever little puzzle platformer where you've got to take control of different characters who've all got slightly different abilities and get them to work together to make sure that you can find the exit. It's an interesting concept, but personally I just don't like games like this, which is why it's so low down on my list. There's not much wrong with it, it represents the genre well, and if you like things like Mario vs Donkey Kong, then you'll probably enjoy this one. The music is pretty catchy and it's worth playing for that alone. Number 4, Coffee Crisis. Another brawler on the collection. This one, aliens are trying to take over the world and coffee shop employees are trying to save it. Coffee Crisis gives off a lot of Mega Drive vibes. The music is reminiscent of Cyborg Justice and the sound effects have a very familiar feel as well. In terms of the gameplay, this is really what lets it down. It's not that it's bad, it's just not as advanced as other games from that era. You can jump, attack, and you've got a special wind-up attack. None of that leads to interesting combos, there's no grab or backwards attack, leading to very repetitive gameplay. It's fun, but only for a while, and it's not on the same level as Turtles in Time or Streets of Rage. Number 3, Super Painter. A retro-inspired arcade-like puzzle platformer, Super Painter requires you to run and jump your way to painting all the grey blocks. Touch an enemy though, and you die and have to start over. This is a pretty fun platformer, the controls feel good and you've got a lot of speed, but your momentum carries you over, so you've got to take that into account. It's a shame there's no timer, as speedrunning the levels is really satisfying. The music is pretty catchy and the 8-bit design is really cool. Definitely worth checking this one out, I enjoyed this a lot. Number 2, Old Towers. There's a theme with the top 3 games on this collection, and that theme is pace. And I absolutely love fast-paced platformers. This one's less of a platformer and more of a puzzle game. It's similar to those top-down ice puzzles that you get in The Legend of Zelda and Pokemon, where you can only move in one direction until you hit a wall, and you've got to work your way through a maze of enemies and spikes. But this one is done at blistering pace. Sadly, it's another one with no timer, but even without it, it's still incredibly satisfying knowing you've nailed a perfect run. And it also looks awesome in video reviews for your super cool YouTube channel that everyone watching should subscribe to. You need to collect all the coins to open up the door to the next level, and some levels you've got multiple characters to switch between. The music is both catchy while also annoying. I'm sure it's been in another game I've played a lot, answers in the comments. Still, definitely one of the best games on this collection. Number 1, Tanzer. The Evercade Gem of the Week goes to Tanzer. It was a close call because Old Towers was really good, but this one just edged it for me. Tanzer is a high-paced action platform game that's incredibly tough. You can take up to 3 hits and you get no continues. Luckily, it's also incredibly fun, and once you've got an area down pretty well, redoing it at blistering pace is all the more satisfying. After each level, you've got the option to buy an upgrade, making you even more powerful. It looks great visually and has some satisfyingly cool animations. The tight controls, music and sound effects will keep you coming back to this little gem. Now when I'm making these videos, I've got to record the footage, and sometimes that footage won't capture properly, or I'll play it on the Evercade handheld first. So this collection was the first time that I was genuinely looking forward to replaying it to get the footage. There are no total duds. Most games on this collection are really good, and other than Almost Hero and Coffee Crisis, they're all completely different genres offering plenty of variety. Most people, like myself, won't have heard of many of these titles, if any, which is great. It's what you want from the Evercade. The Mega Cat Studios Collection 1 is by no means perfect. Nothing really blew me away, and there's plenty of genres that aren't covered. Still, it's a good collection overall, so the Megacat Studios Collection 1 scores a 7.5 out of 10. So that's it. As always, thanks for watching. Give the video a like, and don't forget to click subscribe so you don't miss any of my future videos, including my upcoming Christmas special coming out on Christmas Eve. Until then.